Welcome everybody, it's Talman. In this video we are going to be talking about one of the biggest questions inside IW Zombie storyline, and it has to do with the theaters. And the theaters are very interesting, and keep in mind I'm keeping it plural because there are multiple theaters that we're going to be talking about here. We're going to be really discussing how many different theaters we have seen inside the storyline, and the amount of theaters can go from 4 to 2. We're not entirely sure how many they are because we don't know which theater's which, or which if a theater is the same theater or not. It's just a really big problem right now, and what I'm going to be doing is kind of trying to explain these theaters. I'm going to be trying to say which theaters which, how many theaters we have, and just like I said, just trying to explain it. But anyways, with all that out of the way, let's actually get into this video. So first things first, let's start off with the first theater we ever saw, and that was a theater inside the Zombies in Spaceland's intro. And this one was pretty interesting. We didn't really think much about it back then, but the thing is, we actually returned to this theater, and we actually returned to it in game, because inside the Beasts from Beyond, we actually play inside the exact same theater that we saw inside the Zombies in Spaceland's intro in game. That theater that you escaped to, that is the exact same theater you were in inside Zombies in Spaceland. And the reason we know this is because of what Lee Ross said. He said they are for fact inside the live stream before the map actually dropped, and on top of actually saying that it was the same one, he says a good indicator is by looking at what's written outside of the theater, and he says closed permanently. And this is very interesting, and the reason why is because we actually see this theater inside Zombies in Spaceland's intro and it looks fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. But then when we return to it in the Beasts from Beyond, it's not only overthrown by zombies, it's completely on fire. The entire city behind and around it is completely on fire. So we don't exactly know what exactly happened here. I have an idea, or a theory I should say, of how exactly that happened, which I'll get into a little bit. But before I do that, I just want to move on to the possible next theater, because at the same time, this next one I'm going to be talking about could be the same one or it could be a different one, and I'll express my opinions in a second also. But the next one we have is the theater from the ending cutscene to the Beast from Beyond. Not the Mephistopheles ending, but just a normal ending to the Beast from Beyond, because our characters appear in a theater, and then of course they throw Willard Wilder inside Zombies in Spaceland and all that good stuff. But the thing is, we don't exactly know if this theater is the same theater that we saw inside Zombies in Spaceland or not, because we look outside of the theater and it shows there's zombies out there, and of course there wasn't always zombies inside the Zombies in Spaceland one, but then of course we learn that there's zombies and it's on fire inside the Beast from Beyond, so it still leaves a possibility, and this could as well be a different theater, because obviously we teleport from the Beast from Beyond to that theater. But the thing is, when it actually goes and shows you the outside of that theater, it says closed permanently once again. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that it is the exact same theater, and how I'm going to explain how they are all the same theater, because Zombies in Spaceland, it was not on fire, there was no zombies. In the Beast from Beyond, obviously it was on fire and zombies. In the Beast from Beyond's ending, it just had zombies. Now how exactly could this happen? I think a really good way to explain that is if we were actually traveling through time. And we've also had a lot of hints on time travel inside this storyline. We had a bunch of different times, especially inside Raven the Redwoods, but we actually have more hints throughout the thing, which I'm really not going into. So what I'm thinking exactly is happening here, I'm thinking at the earliest point in time, of course, Zombies in Spaceland's intro happened because there were no zombies and it was not on fire. So that's when it happened. But then, and of course, keep in mind, I'm not talking at time perspective from our characters, but from its actual time being there. So from Zombies in Spaceland, it actually went to the ending cutscene to the Beast from Beyond, because at that point it was only rover around by zombies. But then even farther in the future, and there could be a reason for this, because remember when Willard Wilder at the end of the newest ending cutscene, or the final ending cutscene, Willard Wilder and our characters are going to be working together, so maybe something they did actually caused it to light on fire, because maybe even further in the future, not only is it overrun by zombies and not to mention destroyed, it's also on fire. So what my small theory is, and this one has really no evidence to back it up, is that our characters, first is that Zombies in Spacelands, when it first happened, zombies got in there inside the Beast from Beyond, at the Beast from Beyond's ending cutscene time. Then by the time Beast from Beyond happened, our characters did something with Willard Wilder that lit the entire place on fire, and of course we don't know what that was. Now keep in mind that it really doesn't have any evidence to back it up. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that the theater is not a film, because remember when you leave from the Beast from Beyond normal area of the map and you go into the theater area, it says you escape the film. In fact, you get a trophy saying you escaped the film. So we do know that it is outside of a film and it's in its own little world. And hopefully that all made sense. But anyways, we're going to be going on to the next theater, and we know for fact that this is a different theater from the one we've been talking about, because you could still make the argument that the Beast from Beyond's ending cutscene theater is a different theater from the Zombies in Spaceland and Beast from Beyond's in-game theater. But anyways, this one we know for a fact is different from all of them, because we see the this thing that I kind of just call the Greater Theater. And the reason why I call it that is because how we actually saw this, because we saw this in the ending cutscene to when you beat Mephistopheles. When you beat Mephistopheles, you go and start banging on the door and say, what's happening here, or something along those lines. And then of course it zooms out and you see that you're just in a soul jar, and of course that soul jar is inside another theater. So we did see that there was a theater our characters were in, and then it zoomed out and showed that there was this greater theater out there. Now maybe that's the real world, maybe that's something else, we're not entirely sure, but we do know that that is another theater, and probably is going to become very important in the future of this storyline. And that's about it for the theaters. That kind of makes sense because we still have one more theater, and by far this one makes the least sense, and it could just be something for cosmetics because this is the theater inside the lobby menu. And the reason why I think this is different from at least the one from the Zombies Spaceland intro is because it doesn't say closed permanently on the outside of it. But the thing is, it's also run over by zombies. There's still zombies there, you can see this every single time. But another problem is that there's other people there, because when you're outside you see zombies chasing after people, and on top of that, when you actually go click on it and go to the lobby or something, and go into a lobby of a game or something like that, you actually see there's people inside the theater watching a film that aren't our characters or anybody we've ever seen before. So there's people that we have no idea. This might be Greater Theater, so that's why I'm saying there might be just two theaters, because the Greater Theater and the Lobby Theater could be the same theater, and of course the Beast from Beyond any cutscene theater could also be the Zombies of Spaceland theater / the Beast from Beyond's in-game theater. So that's what I'm saying right here. It just really doesn't make that much sense because we have very little information about the Greater Theater and the Lobby Theater. So right now we're not entirely sure. They could be 3 different theaters, 2 different theaters, 4 different theaters. We just don't know at this time, and I really hope this becomes a really big thing in the storyline for the future. But anyways, that's about it for this video. Tell me what you guys think about these theaters, because right now I have no idea what to really think about them. I don't know why they're going to become important in the future, or if they even will, but I'm really hoping they do. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video and you guys actually liked, subscribed, or even shared on this video, then I thank you guys so much for doing so. It really means a lot to me. But anyways, I'm going to go and I will catch you guys on my next video.